The prophet Ezekiel received a message from God warning there would be a righteous judgment that would fall upon Israel under the hands of Babylon. In this judgment, Israel would be punished for their sins, namely for worshiping false gods. Before this judgment falls upon Israel, however, God warns Ezekiel's wife is to be suddenly taken away before the invasion begins. I believe this to be a symbol for a pre-tribulation rapture and hope to demonstrate Ezekiel being a type and shadow of Christ.
And the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, behold, I take away from thee the desire of thine eyes with a stroke. Yet neither shalt thou mourn nor weep, neither shall thy tears run down. Forbear to cry, make no mourning for the dead. Bind the tire of thine head upon thee, and put on thy shoes upon thy feet, and cover not thy lips, and eat not the bread of men. So I spake unto the people in the morning, and at even my wife died, and I did in the morning as I was commanded.
Here we see God speaking to Ezekiel, warning of his wife's death. Notice the choice of words in which God says Ezekiel's wife will pass. God says he will take her away in a stroke, meaning she will be taken suddenly. Furthermore, from the text, we can gather her death acts as a catalyst which kicks off the invasion of Jerusalem. Chapter 24, verses 21 through 24, we are told Ezekiel's lack of mourning is to be a sign for how the Jews must behave once the judgment comes. Therefore, we know with certainty this invasion was not going to happen until after his wife has been taken.
Speak unto the house of Israel, Thus saith the Lord God, Behold, I will profane my sanctuary, the excellency of your strength, the desire of your eyes, and that which your soul pitieth. And your sons and your daughters, whom ye have left, shall fall by the sword. And ye shall do as I have done. Ye shall not cover your lips, nor eat the bread of men. And your tires shall be upon your heads, and your shoes upon your feet. Ye shall not mourn nor weep, but ye shall pine away for your iniquities, and mourn one toward another. Thus Ezekiel is unto you a sign. According to all that he hath done shall ye do. And when this cometh, ye shall know that I am the Lord God.
So how can we fairly draw a parallel between Ezekiel and his wife to Christ and his bride, the church? There are a number of stunning parallels between Ezekiel and Christ. First, as we know, Jesus goes by the title Son of Man. Apart from Christ, the only other person who God gives this title to is Ezekiel. In fact, Ezekiel is given that title 93 times, whereas Christ was referred to it only 81 times. To elaborate, Son of Man is also used as a generic term, meaning human, like in Daniel 8:17, where the lowercase version is used in a non-title manner. This is not the case with Ezekiel, however. Secondly, Ezekiel is called to suffer in silence. This parallels Christ's own silent suffering as depicted in Isaiah 53, verses 5 through 7. Furthermore, in the book of Deuteronomy, the Hebrews were given instructions on how to mourn. The only person who was forbidden to mourn were high priests. While Ezekiel was indeed a priest, he was not a high priest, making his exemption from the mourning period that much more significant. As we are told in Hebrews 4:14, Jesus is our high priest, marking yet another God-ordained parallel to a Christ type and shadow. Once we take a high-level overview of the book of Ezekiel, we can truly understand how it parallels from start to finish end-time prophecy. In chapters 12 through 24, it discusses how righteous judgment will fall on Israel. Chapters 25 through 32 discuss judgment on the nations. In chapters 38 through 48, we see how God defeats evil and establishes his messianic kingdom. As you can see, this book mirrors end-time prophecy perfectly. This is why I believe it is possible to view Ezekiel's wife being suddenly taken away by God as a potential symbol for the rapture that is to come.